You're listening to the Dave and Beck Show.
Bek and Dave.
You're making this difficult. I'm Dave.
And I'm Beck. David, before we really dive into this episode, I just want all you and all of our listeners to know, and I need you to tell our listeners, that Switchies is back on because I brought you a coffee this morning. So I just want to set the record straight. The Switchies, not spelled I-E-S, it's actually two E's. I learned that this morning too. And it's back on.
It is back on.
Yeah. So you just...
So now I will go get coffee next week. Mm-hmm. And make you wait 30 minutes.
I told you, it's a long line.
Yes.
What do you want from me, David? Do you want the coffee or do you want me timely?
I'm happy that I got the coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was good. Yeah.
Were you very thankful?
I don't really like sit at the table and say, I'm so thankful. I'm not like that.
Oh,
I'm just more like, wow, this is great. There's some food, some football, and
so you use the word great and not thankful.
Yeah, it's great.
Wow, this
is
great
giving.
Great giving. Greatest giving.
Greatest giving. Well, greatest. There's some Thanksgivings that are better than others.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would call this one the greatest Thanksgiving,
but it was still
greatest
giving.
I mean, but yeah, it was
sure.
good.
So you don't have a family rule that when you sit down to eat, you all have to go around and say what you're thankful for?
No. Do you do that?
Yes.
Oh.
We have our whole entire lives. And the rule also is you can't be like, oh, I'm thankful for a family.
Right.
Know?
You can't do like a cop out.
Yeah. You have to actually say something. So this is the only time I'm ever going to be nice to you. Okay. And I want you to I will tell you what my thankful thing was.
You're the only time you'll ever be nice to me. You're nice to me like every minute of the day.
I know.
Like,
don't ruin my reputation.
It's not like you're some hardcore, tough person to deal with. You're like, how are you? Good morning. Everything's like roses when you're around. Well, not when you're around, but when you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
anyway.
I exude sunshine.
Yeah.
Anyway, you and this podcast, the podcast was my thankful thing, just so you know. But then my nephew went after me, and he said candy corn was what he was thankful for.
Well, he had a much
and
better
I was
one.
like, dang it, I should have gone with something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How could you not be thankful for candy corn?
Candy corn's the worst candy. Are you kidding me? It tastes like wax.
So you said you were thankful for the podcast.
Yeah.
Not for the guest, or not guest, co-host.
Oh, I mean, it's a package deal.
Not for the co-host of the podcast. You're just like thankful for the actual podcast.
I was like, I'm so thankful that I'm great at podcasting.
Right. Yeah. Narcissism.
Yeah. And then I was like, family, have you tuned in yet?
Right.
And I just laid on the guilt.
Did anyone say anything about it?
Most people were like, oh, it's great. And then their couple were just like looking at their mashed potatoes. You know who you are.
Wow.
Not that they'll hear
They'll
that.
never hear this. Yeah.
It's true.
It's okay.
So do you do Black Friday shopping? You and your wife? Do you go on out, get all the deals?
No, we kind of used to do that, but everything's online now.
No, that is true.
Yeah. Why? What about you?
Of course.
Yeah?
Yeah. Does that surprise you?
I mean,
love a Black Friday shopping
was it
experience.
busy?
Not like past years, and I do believe it was because everything's online. And let me tell you one of the worst Black Friday experiences I've ever had.
Okay.
First of all, I've gone Black Friday shopping for like most of my years at this point. I have slept outside of many a store waiting for them to open. And especially in Minnesota, it is the worst. I do believe that I've had minor frostbite a couple of times, but that's not even the worst.
Because you were out like at 2 a.m. waiting in line?
Oh, yeah. A lot of times you'd start at like 7 p.m. the night before.
Right.
And then the store opens at like 5. I mean, so you're out there for a really long time. Was the laptop I got worth it at that point? No. But the experience, I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Right, because you now have 9 fingers.
Right. I didn't need that 10th one. Right. I'm just learning what I need and what I don't need in life.
Right.
Who needs a pinky?
Who needs a pinky?
Yeah.
Exactly. What is a pinky? Anyway.
What is a pinky? That's the dumbest finger out there.
It is. And I'm sure when they were naming fingers, they got to the end and they're like, what are we going to call this thing?
I know.
Like, what's the point?
And how did they land on pinky?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Thumb.
Thumb's a good name.
You think so?
It's an important finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it gets its own. It's not the thumb finger. Have you noticed
true.
that?
It's true.
It's
It's just like it's like Madonna.
right.
Yeah,
It's
of
thumb.
the hands.
And then
Thumb.
then everything else has finger after it.
You know,
Middle
I never thought
finger,
about that.
index finger, ring finger. Yeah, then you got the thumb.
Yeah.
So important, it gets its own name. Doesn't
Did
share
you-
the name with the brothers and sisters.
Did you name it?
No,
Because you're like a big fan.
I'm just saying it's really a great finger.
Anyway, back to my Black Friday. So we were outside. I believe this was 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 4. We were standing outside of an Ulta, and my sisters and I. And there were these swarms of birds up ahead. And I freak out at birds anyway. I have an irrational fear of birds. I don't know if you know that about me or not.
I swear you said something about spiders. So it's spiders and birds.
I mean, if you're trying to keep a list, yeah, and then coyotes.
Coyotes, spiders, and birds.
Yeah. And also
Really, just every living creature.
anything that can pounce out at me. Like if you're unpredictable, you scare me.
Birds, I mean, are they really unpredictable?
Yeah, they're swooping down at you. You don't know. They're just like fly, fly, fly. And then they've got those little peckers and just like, it could get your eye out.
I guess that could happen.
Yeah, first of all, they're going to distract you with the wing flapping,
Right.
you know, and then the peckers come,
right.
and then you're just gone.
Yeah.
If 10 birds came at you right now, you trying to tell me you could walk away unharmed?
They would probably fly over me.
No, they're coming for you. 10 birds, they're coming directly at you.
Have you seen the movie Birds?
No,
Okay.
I don't think I would do well with that.
I mean, I just don't think that ever happens.
That birds attack?
Yeah.
Of course they attack. For sure. You should Google that.
Birds leave people alone.
No,
They might
there's
attack
definitely
a
bad
small
birds out
dog.
there. They would attack a small, maybe like an eagle. Or no.
Or if you go
Falcon?
after maybe a nest, maybe a bird might come get you.
I mean, sure.
Are there
but
evil birds?
Yeah, of course.
Birds are very good. They're important creatures.
Do you love them as much as the thumb?
It's pretty close.
Anyway, so since you're such a big fan, a whole bunch of your fans, or what you're a fan of, were flying up ahead of my sisters and I. We're standing in this Alta line. We still had like 2 hours to go. Multiple of the birds pooped on me as I'm in line. Did it hit anybody else? No. It got in my hair. It got in my jacket.
So you got bombed.
Yes. I got shit on.
It was an air
It
air
felt
raid.
personal.
Yeah.
It felt like a very personal attack. And did my sisters try to swoop in, and then were they like, oh my gosh, let me get you something to wipe that off? No.
What did
Just hysterical laughing. Then everyone else in the line is like, what's going on up there? Oh, that girl got bird shit in her hair. Oh, that's so funny. No one's offering to help me. And we're all together in this line for the next couple hours. In some of their memories, they don't know my name. They just know me as the girl who was pooped on by the bird in a Black Friday line.
Not just one bird, though, you said, right?
It was because there were multiple birds up there.
So you got hit, and then a second later, you're like, oh my God, I got
It
bird.
felt like it just kept coming
And
down.
then it's another hit, and then another hit. And before you know it, people are thinking, she's just kind of into this. She's not trying to block it. She's not putting up a coat. She's just kind of enjoying it.
I was screaming. And then finally, I don't remember which of my sisters was like, I might have some napkins in the car. So they
Well,
had to
how
go
do you
out
get
and look.
that out? It's just going to smear.
It was, yeah, you're telling me right in my hair.
I mean, I've had bird, hit my car windshield. And
Yeah,
you turn it
not
into
the same,
windshield
David.
wipers, and it's the worst experience.
Exactly.
Worse than probably getting in your hair.
Yeah, no, right, for sure. Well, the worst part was we still had 6 hours of shopping ahead of us. I couldn't go home and shower.
It's okay. No one's going to know.
I knew. I carried
You
that
know?
bird with me.
It's kind of gross.
It was very gross. You know what? I'm going to stick some birds on you. I'm going to have them poop on you. And then you're not going to be able to shower for a couple hours, and then you can come back to me.
I've never been hit by bird poop. My cousin, I was once walking down a boardwalk.
Which one?
I think it was in Wildwood, New Jersey. But we were walking down the boardwalk, and my cousin got hit by
They say it's supposed to be
on
lucky.
the shoulder, though. Hit
Ask
him on
me
the
how
shoulder.
lucky I felt.
How lucky did you feel?
Not at all.
Let me ask you this. Did you get any good deals that day?
I actually got a lot of good deals that day.
So it was lucky.
No, David, it wasn't.
See,
the
the
ads were already out. The deals were already out
But-
before the bird decided to do nasty on my face.
But there's people who probably would have gotten those pieces, those items, if it wasn't for the bird poop.
Oh, right.
Instead, they're like, stay clear of the bird poop girl. Don't rush past her. You don't know what is going to happen.
Like, there's that bird poop girl.
I mean, we know we're in the store, but they could come from anywhere.
Well, what really did suck is we were shopping in a place where there's multiple stores. So I saw a lot of those people multiple times the rest of that day. And they were probably just like,
And let
oh,
me ask,
there's
was
bird
this in
girl.
Minnesota?
No, this was here in Kentucky.
Oh, I was going to say, because in Minnesota, wouldn't there be like no birds left up there at this point? I mean, except the dumb birds who are probably really not, they're just dying. They're just falling from the sky. They're not really doing much else.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, by this point, Minnesota, it's going to be negative, what, 50, 60?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Negative 80.
Negative 80.
Yeah.
Yeah. So birds, they've already like migrated, right?
Right. I mean, by the time that they poop anyway, it just turns into icicles. You just get
Oh, that probably
pelted.
just, yeah, it just hits you in the head and you're like, ow,
Yeah.
dumb bird. You came to Kentucky and you're like, this is what bird poop is?
Yeah, it was a whole new world for me.
Yeah. You had to dodge it. Before you're just like, I'll just take this one.
Yeah, the dodge and weave. No, the worst bird experiences too are on the beach. Like when you're eating and all the seagulls come up. I hate that. You can't enjoy it. One time I opened a can of Pringles, instant regret. I ran away screaming.
Really? They attacked you for the food?
Yes.
I've never seen seagulls attack for the food. Normally, like you throw it down, they go down for the food, but they don't actually come after you.
No, I just opened a Pringle can. I started grabbing some Pringles out and then shoop.
One came down.
Mm-hmm.
Probably thought you could share them. Instead, you drop them and run.
Why
like
you keep taking the bird side, David?
I'm just saying, you always react. Overreaction right here.
Overreaction.
You could have shared.
Shared my Pringles?
Instead,
Do you share food with animals?
You gave them all your Pringles.
I did actually after that because
see?
I don't.
You could have at least given. You could have gave him one. You could have ate one. You guys could have had a relationship.
Sharesies. Yeah. I could have done switchies with the
could-
bird.
You could have asked him, "Hey, do you poop on people?"
Yeah.
And you guys could have a conversation, and he could tell you why he does what he does.
Do you often have conversations with animals, Snow White?
I do not. That would not call me Snow White. All right. So last episode,
Really,
I brought
before you get into that, can you just look at me and say, I'm sorry that happened to you?
But that you lost your Pringles?
No. The bird poop.
No, I don't feel bad for you. You were standing in their spot. That's where they were going to go.
No, their spot is the sky.
Yeah, no. Above you. It's not their fault gravity exists. I mean,
Whatever. Move on.
birds might not even know what gravity is. They're thinking, this won't hit her. It'll just come up. And then they're wrong. Like, oh, sorry about that.
You're like, oh, shoot. Okay.
All right. So anyway, last episode, I brought up a psychology experiment in it.
Oh, yeah. Poor
And
Albert.
I think it kind of hurts your heart.
It truly did. It was like, let me tell you a story about an orphan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was scared.
I might have got some of those things factually wrong. I don't know.
Oh, even better.
I wasn't there. But I got another one.
Oh, okay.
This one hopefully isn't as sad. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, I want your thoughts.
Oh, can't wait
Obviously,
to give
that's
him.
what I'm
Can't wait to
telling you.
give
I
him.
want your thoughts. Okay. So in I don't know what year this was, but this was a while ago.
Can you make up a year?
Back around World War II, I think.
Okay.
Okay. There was an experiment. It was called Milgram experiment.
Milgram?
Uh-huh.
Like pilgrim, but with an M.
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
What's Milgram mean?
I'm guessing it's the psychologist's name. I don't know.
Okay.
It's an authority experiment. So what they did, and you may have heard this one, and some people may have heard this one, but what they did was they had 3 people were involved in this experiment. Nobody knew what was going on except for, well, two of the people. Obviously, there's one person who didn't know what was going on. Okay, so 3 people were involved. What happened?
Men or women?
It didn't. Both.
Okay.
Okay. So it might have been just men. Maybe it's just been men back then.
Have you actually read this article?
Yeah, I know this experiment. I just don't remember if there's men and women because it was the World War II, so maybe they didn't include women in it. I don't know, but either way, definitely men. Okay. So, so what happens is they would bring these people in, and their job was to press a button to electrocute someone on the other side if they got the answer to a question wrong.
Wait. Okay. So the 3 people were hooked up to some kind of buzzer, and they would electrocute each other.
Right. The participants were were led to believe that they were assisting an unrelated experiment in which they had to administer electric shocks to a quote unquote learner, someone who was supposed to be learning things. Okay. And
do you think they ever just accidentally hit the button a couple times?
no.
Oh, okay.
No. So I'll get to this. Yeah, they took it seriously. So what happens is as they kept getting questions wrong, they had to turn the dial up.
Oh my God.
On the electrocution level and press the button. So in other words, like at first the person on the other side, the learner who was just an actor, because there was no true electricity going on.
Oh.
He would just get a little buzz or something. But then as it kept turning up and up and up, the actor on the other side would start reacting more and more as if he was getting fully electrocuted. And even like screaming for like, mercy, stuff like that, like really just laying it in thick.
Yeah.
The person who's pushing the button was the person they were doing the experiment on.
Oh, because the electricity wasn't actually happening.
Right. They didn't know that though.
Oh.
Okay.
You would have been a good actor for that. Like, dear God, stop.
But what they were testing was how obedient people would be if there was someone superior to them or telling them what to do. So what happens is the people would not want to push the button.
Yeah.
And the other actor would basically say, you need to push that button. You need to do this. You got the question wrong. And the people who had to push the button in some cases were getting frantic. They didn't want to, but in the end, they typically pushed the button.
They all pushed the button to inflict pain on the other person because they were being told to do that.
And when it says, let's see. Yeah, every participant going up to 300 volts pushed the button, and 65% of the people pushed the button up to the fullest highest amount, which was 450 volts.
How many percentage of people did that?
65% did it at the highest level because someone was telling them, push the button. You need to push this button. And they felt like they had to push that button. They did. I can't remember in the experiment if they were told beforehand at any point you could tell us to stop, but nowadays, that's actually a rule, and it might have been caused by this experiment, where if you don't want to participate in the experiment anymore, you can straight up say, I don't want to participate, and you're allowed to leave. Oh. But back then, no ethics, really. So they did these kind of things. Yeah.
What they should have done is followed kids that never listened growing up. Like when you're like, put your shoes on, and they'd be like, no, and they'd be running away. They should have put those people in the experiment to see if, they wouldn't push the button. Would you have been a button pusher?
I don't even think I would have felt bad about it. I would just be like, this guy's an idiot. He can't get any of the questions
You can't get the question right? It was 2 + 2, and it equals 4. You know what? I'm going to turn up the dial myself.
Yeah. They wouldn't even tell me to turn the dial up.
How high you want me to go?
Yeah. I would just be like, do we go any higher? He's still moving.
His leg was only shaking a little. I think we could give him a little bit more.
Yeah.
I want to know what kind of questions they were asking.
Let me see if I can find that. But yeah, it was, they were pretty,
So they were just trying to see if people are obedient.
They were looking to see because this had to do with World War II and the Nazis.
Oh, sure.
And they were curious if the soldiers were really as evil as the army, I guess you could say, or, as what they were doing, or if it was someone in an authoritarian position telling them what to do so they had no choice.
What I want to know is, were they told afterwards, like, hey, bro, we were just playing, because I feel like that's traumatizing.
When it was over with, I think they were told, but you have to realize that it messed with their psyche too, because.
Well, sure.
They're
going to be going to sleep at night hearing the screams of the shockies.
Yeah. I mean, I assume they told them at the end.
You don't even know for sure?
I don't remember how it ended. I just remember that was something that they did, and the people were very upset that they got put in that position.
So they were just like randomly selected?
I guess
someone came up to you on the street,
they got paid, like they were getting paid for it or whatever. So like it was like, hey, do you want to do this experiment? And I guess they must have told them it was something else.
Would you ever want to be part of an experiment? Like if someone came up to you and said, hey guy, you look like you'd be really good at experiments. You want to come follow me into this lab?
I was in an experiment once.
Were you?
It's not a hilarious story. It's a true story.
What experiment were you part of?
When I was going to college for my psych degree.
You were going for a psych degree? I forgot.
Yeah. and I have a psych degree in it. That's how I learned about these stories. But yeah, and the senior project for this guy, he had to do an experiment, and he had to collect volunteers. Well, part of being like a junior or something like that was you had to help the seniors out, I guess. And I can't remember, but so I had to go do one of these.
Yeah, you were like, I volunteer as tribute.
So you got to choose which one to sign up for, which is kind of against the experiment rules in a way because they weren't random. But either way.
So you were just looking at the list like, no. Okay, I'll do this one.
Right. I think I was just trying to find one that was easier to do because I didn't want to have to like go to some remote location or do something. You know, it was, I don't know. Anyway, it was a computer thing where I had to sit, and it was based on my reaction time. And I can't remember all of it, but yeah, I was an experiment.
Did you feel really cool afterwards? Like, wow, I contributed to something.
No, I was just like, I'm glad I got that over with.
No.
Yeah, now I get to move on.
Wait, did you also have to do an experiment yourself? Conduct one?
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember what I had to do for my senior year for that last thing. I can't remember if I had to do an experiment. You just blocked
it out of your mind?
It was either you did an experiment or you wrote a paper, I think.
Oh.
I can't remember which one I did.
You went the boring route?
I can't remember.
You would remember if you did an experiment, David.
No, you would think that, but, you know, I don't remember a lot anymore. Everything's a fog.
That old age is just creeping up on you.
Everything's a fog. But yeah. So anyway, a little bit more of a, interesting story. So lucky for you, I brought an instrument today. I'm just going to hook you up and ask you some questions.
Oh, great. Is there shocking involved?
No.
Oh,
but
awesome.
This lady over here is going to push the button if you get the question wrong. Let me just, and we'll just see how it goes.
Wow. I'll just get
There's no acting involved in this one, though. Would you be able to push the button?
Me?
Yeah.
Are you the person I'm pushing the button on? And am I mad at you?
No.
Is this a stranger then?
Yeah, it's some stranger.
No.
And he's just sitting there and they're like, okay, what's the, and they would have the guy get like one right every once in a while, to see, I guess, the reaction. But yeah, he get one right and then you don't push the button, he gets one wrong.
If he said an answer, I'd be like, no, you didn't hear him right. He actually said, and then I would answer it correctly.
Oh, what if you didn't know the answer yourself?
I would. I know all the things.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm well versed in
Well, anyway, it's interesting. These things that they did to people, because you got to think, when there was no ethics, you could really see what human nature was.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's ethics. So how could you do that experiment?
That's true.
You couldn't. You'd be like, okay, we got this guy. He's going to be on the other end. You're going to push this button, but he's an actor. So we're going to see how you react.
Yeah, but I don't think, they would have to tell him the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, well, then you'll never actually get a real conclusion.
It's kind of like you don't get a true human nature conclusion, right? Because you have to kind of give them everything. And then you say, but if you want to stop at any time, you can just tell us to stop and you can go. I don't think they told them that back then. So they didn't know they could just stop, even though they maybe asked. Oh, the other thing too is some of the participants asked to stop. And the authoritarian quote unquote person basically said, no, you're not allowed to stop.
This is a nightmare.
But some people still were like, I'm not doing this anymore. And then they had to stop but put them in that spot where like, I'm in control.
I would have just like broke down crying.
Because they wanted to see what someone would do.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's no remorse for what what the Nazis did or whatever. Like, I don't, but I'm just saying like, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel bad for the Nazis.
No.
But we
just want to make that clear.
Yeah, definitely. But you get what I'm saying. Like the whole point of that study was like just to see if you told someone to do something and you were their boss or, their commander or whatever, would they do it? And that was kind of the idea.
Yeah.
So interesting how the mind works. So.
It is interesting how the mind works. And I would have hated to be part of that study. And I definitely would have wrote about it in my diary. And it would have been a really sad entry. Have you ever, do you ever keep diaries or journals?
Nope.
Just to keep your thoughts written down?
I do not.
In all of your years, you've never just written down Dave's thoughts?
No.
Really? What do you do with all your thoughts?
I keep them inside in a deep, dark place.
Oh, hello, darkness, my old friend.
That's right.
Well, lucky for you. When we were putting up Christmas decorations, and we were going through a bunch of bins and boxes, I found some old diaries.
Oh.
Yes. The days of Bek's life.
And you're sure you want to tell everyone this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a flair for the dramatic back in the day. And so some of these I just thought I'd read to you, and you can decide, or you can see if this is like something from a soap opera or if this is just me.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see the first one that I'm going to start with. Also, this one for sure is a diary entry because I didn't know how to spell diary as a kid.
Did you do dairy?
No. I shortened it.
D?
Yep. And I always started it, Dear D.
Wow. Are you sure you're talking to your diary?
This one was
It's interesting.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Dear D. How is my day, you ask? Oh, not fun. Not fun at all. Everyone was mad at me for making the most funny jokes during school. They are lame and must not like laughing. Whatevs. If they want to go a day without laughter, then that's their problem. I'm going to talk to Jonathan tonight. He has really nice hair. Okay. See ya. Signed, me.
Was that last week?
This was yesterday. How did you know?
I mean, it sounds like every day. No one likes my jokes.
Everyone likes my jokes. This was
Wait, how old were you then?
That was back in 2000.
2000?
Yeah. I was born in 91. So how old was I?
9.
Buzz!
9. You're 9. I was waiting for you.
No. Why'd you have the panic in your eyes? You couldn't add that up. Yeah, I was 9 years old and no one thought my jokes were funny. Thanks a lot, family.
All right. So that was definitely a 9-year-old entry. Okay.
Yeah. This one, I was a little bit older. 2007.
Oh, no. Okay, go ahead.
Actually, do you want to hear my very first one
No,
ever?
No. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This, someone must have helped me because diary is spelled right. And It's like a poem to my diary. It says, entitled, My Diary. I call my diary D. My diary is a big, big, big secret I plan to keep.
This is sounding so dirty.
It kind of does. I love to write in my diary. My diary's best friend, and that's never going to end. My diary is so great. I love my diary. My diary is the best. The end.
Aw. It didn't get dirty after the beginning.
Yeah.
It was just dirty in the beginning.
Yeah, only the beginning.
Especially when he called it D. My secret friend.
This other one, I feel like I haven't changed much. I have one that just says, I have so many questions, so I must write them down to get them out of my mind's loop.
Oh.
Not my thoughts, but
Your mind loop.
my mind's loop.
How old were you in that one?
This is 2001.
Oh, okay.
Where do babies come from? Why do mom and dads fight? Why do babies cry like all the time? Why do people sleep? How does a dog cry? And would they ever cry themselves to sleep? How will I find these answers? I'll probably know when I'm like really, really old, like 22. Bye.
Oh, so you found out where babies come from at 22. See, it all happens.
That was more 26.
Oh,
I
okay.
finally figured it out.
That's so cute, though. You got to think like you were
When I'm really, really old, like 22.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, God. I don't know if I want to read this one. I have 2 left.
Go ahead.
I need to change the name of the person. So when I say a name, it's not the real name. Okay. Just in case this guy's still listening.
So you are changing the name.
Yeah.
Okay.
And apparently in 2007, I learned how to spell diary.
Oh.
So this says Dear Diary.
And you were born in what year again?
91.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. Talk about long time no speak. My life has been going pretty well. I'm an actress now. I go to an acting school called John Robert Powers.
Is this true?
Yeah.
Okay.
A very cool place. I'll have to write later about everything going on in my life. But for now, I have something else I'd like to discuss. There's a guy I've known for a very long time. I mean, he's like a brother to me. His name is Brian. For some reason, lately, Every time I see him, I make sure that I look my best. And the other day, I even thought about kissing him, which is so weird. I mean, I think he might have a girlfriend, though. But he did call me babe in front of my family and my best friend. What do you think that means, diary? Maybe my feelings will pass. I'm sure in a little while, he won't mean anything to me anymore. Anyway, that's all for now. Becca.
I think it's nice that you actually said, what do you think that means, diary? So does diary respond? Is there an entry after this where diary responds? Because that means someone's reading your diary and writing answers. What do you think that means, diary?
I know. I mean, this was a relationship back and forth. My diary's magical. But what's better is the next page, I had my name and his last name written a bunch of times. And then on the bottom, I said, I don't really like how that sounds. So never mind.
Oh, you kind of mixed like you got married.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Nah.
No, it just doesn't sound right.
Yeah. So that one was going to be a no. I have one last one.
All right.
You ready to hear it?
I'm ready. This is save the best for last.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was September 20th, 2005.
Okay.
So do the math. How old was I?
What year were you born?
Jesus. 91.
And this was what year?
2005.
So you're 14?
Yeah. And I didn't know how to spell diary because it's Dear D again.
So you learned somewhere between 14 and 16.
Yeah. Good for me. Good for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. When apparently I was no longer making jokes in school, I was trying to actually learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The title of today's entry should be How I Used to Be. I used to have long hair, but now it's short.
Oh, I wonder what you look like.
I used to love wearing a green coat, but now I wouldn't be seen dead in it.
Wow.
My pink coat is what makes me feel like me. I think Hilary Duff would think it's cool. We should def be in a movie together. I'd show her this coat. Anyway, I also used to hate black olives, and now I think they're just okay. Sometimes I feel like, who even am I? I'm like lost, and where do I turn?
Aww.
I'm listening to music right now. Clay Aiken, if you must know. He has the voice of an angel, and my friend Bronte wants to marry him. That would be so cool. I'd like to marry Jesse McCartney or Nick Carter. When I win my first Oscar, ugh, all in caps, someone is knocking on my door, even after I told my family I wanted time to be alone with my thoughts.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know which one of you are at the mother freaking door, but you ruined this entry for me.
Is this what I have to look forward to when my daughter gets 14?
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, she's not going to share these entries with you, though.
That's all right, I'll read them.
You can't read your daughter's diary?
I'll respond. When she says, dear, hey, diary, do you think my dad hates me? I'll write yes.
No.
and then the next day,
She'll be like,
it'll be my own little experiment.
and you're just going to cross off any words that she misspelled.
Right, yeah. Get it right. Your friend, diary.
I mean, I'm definitely a different person, I feel like, than these entries, right? Do you think that...
No, this all makes sense. All these things added up. Like, I'm just like, you could have gave me like 2 truths and a lie of the diary entries.
Yeah.
And I would have been able to point out definitely what the truths were for sure.
I should have played like, really cheesy music in the background as I was reading it, like a soap opera.
Well, you could always add it.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me now.
Wow.
Rest in peace that green coat that apparently I wouldn't be caught dead in, which I am wearing a green coat today. So who am I? I should do an updated entry. Who even am I?
Yeah.
My coat's
who
not
are
pink.
you?
I don't know.
Well,
I'd also like to say that I think black olives are more than okay now. I love them.
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So you've slowly grown to like them. You used to hate them, and then you're like, they're okay.
Yeah.
And now all you think about is black olives. Dear diary.
Yeah. As soon as I wake up, I'm like, gotta get those black olives.
Dear diary.
Black olives are so yummy.
Let's be honest. So you'd probably say Dear D because you probably
Diary
forgot
is
how
a
to
hard word to spell.
Is it D-I-A or D-A-I?
It's like when you write Brian and Brain. I have missed those up before, for sure.
Brian and Brain?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Switch the A and the I. There you go.
Mm-hmm. I hope that you enjoyed that little peek into my soul.
I did. It's nice to hear what teenage Becca was thinking.
Yeah.
And like you said, not much has changed, so. Teenage Becca. Adult
I mean,
Becca.
I don't write in a diary anymore. I say that I journal.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's not
Diaries
diary,
are
it's a
for
journal.
kids.
Now you say Dear Jay.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to spell journal.
I always like to when I sign them, Becca.
Are you signing your name at the end?
Yeah. Or I sign me.
Why? Because if someone reads it, they might forget who you are after the first page.
The idea of someone reading all of my diaries, horrendous.
Yeah.
I was selective on these entries.
And you still have them all.
I have them all.
Wow.
You know what would have been great? Oh my God, this would have been great. When you first met your wife, if you would have just like started keeping a journal of your dates and your feelings and stuff, because then you could have like, number one, gifted it to her on your wedding day, but then your kids could have read this and been like, oh my gosh, their love story unfolding. And when you guys turn 85, you could have had like a reading, maybe for like your 50th wedding anniversary, and then like your 65th, you could have done a dramatic reading of it, and there wouldn't be a dry eye in the place.
This is not a Hallmark movie that we live in.
Oh, that would have been so nice. Can you write it now? She'd love it.
She made me a journal once of all our stuff. I can't remember how many years we were in, but
Wow, that sounds romantic. Of all our stuff.
Yeah, all the things that we did. Yeah.
Like a scrapbook?
Like a scrapbook. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a scrapbook.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
And you didn't return the favor.
I said thank you.
You just put a Post-it note on there. Need stuff.
I said I'll check it out later.
Put it over there. My show's on.
So,
That is really sweet, though.
it was sweet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been meaning to ask you. It's after Thanksgiving, so is your Christmas tree up?
Oh, it is not.
David!
But it's going to go up tomorrow.
What the heck?
Yes, it will.
Why tomorrow?
Because
That's days after Thanksgiving.
Because we are having another Thanksgiving today, just the family, because we went out to Holly's grandparents. But
What,
yeah, so
you just didn't want to have the tree up in the background?
It's just too busy right now.
What did you do yesterday?
Cleaned, because we had a lot of stuff we had to clean.
You know what would have been the perfect time to put the tree up then? Mid-cleaning.
It's, and we still have to clean. We still got some more cleaning to do, but there was a lot of dishes, and we had to relax because there was, you just got to have a day. So,
Sure.
It'll be up probably tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow, so maybe not even. Well, you're past Thanksgiving. I don't know how many days now. Are we 2 days past Thanksgiving? And it's prime time to watch Christmas movies. And you can't watch Christmas movies without the tree being up. It's not as magical.
Yeah.
Did you watch that Netflix one that I wanted you to watch?
I did.
Oh, I think that was called Falling for Christmas. And first of all, it's Lindsay Lohan's big return back to movies, which is huge.
Why?
Were you a fan of The Parent Trap?
No.
Mean Girls?
No.
Did you ever watch them?
No.
Okay. Well, I
Are they
mean,
good?
truth be told, back in the day, Hilary Duff and Lindsay Lohan had a rivalry, and I sided with Hilary Duff. So it's like I liked Lindsay Lohan, but I wasn't like as big of a fan. But now as an adult, I can appreciate both of their works. And I am excited for her because she got like into drugs and stuff and just had a hard time.
I know.
Now she's, got her life back together. I'm really proud of her. So when she came out with this movie, I was like, Lindsay Lohan and Christmas? Get out of town. Sign me up.
And I think it's great that she's, that she battled her way through it, and hopefully she stays away from the drugs and everything like that. But
She found the love of her life.
It took a little toll on her there.
Yeah.
She looks a little older. And I looked up her age, and I was like, I know she's, closer to my age, but
Are you going to tell the viewers how old you are?
She looks older than I feel like. She just seems.
Are you saying Lindsay Lohan looks
I'm just
older
saying,
than you?
don't do drugs.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Like it really, but I'm glad that she's clean, hopefully still, and that she's getting her life.
She has got some work done. I did notice that.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know why. She's not even
she's
like
gorgeous.
Oh, I wouldn't say she's gorgeous.
I mean, it's hard when you're naturally very beautiful, and then you like get tons of Botox at such a young age because like then your forehead doesn't move and your eyebrows, like her eyebrows didn't move up and down at all. And then that's all I could focus on for a little while. And I was like, move your eyebrows. Can you move your eyebrows?
Yeah, I mean, but she was attractive before her whole episode of getting into all that stuff, but it must have took such a toll on her. She already jumped into the world of because you don't normally have to get plastic surgery and stuff like that done in your late 30s or early 40s. Usually
She's in her 30s, right?
I think she's like late 30s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but anyway,
well, I'm proud of her though. And then the guy in it was from Glee. Did you ever watch Glee growing up?
No.
Well, I guess I can't say growing up for you because you were already like adult at that point.
Holly watched Glee, but I never watched Glee. No.
Can we get Holly on this podcast instead because she seems really awesome and she likes really cool things. Like me.
Sure.
Holly, if you're listening, come grab this mic.
So anyway, what did you think of the movie?
I felt like it was like a warm cup of cocoa. It enveloped me in love and it felt good.
See, this is the problem with an audio podcast. No one sees my eyes rolling in the back of my head. This movie was not a warm cup of cocoa.
Stop. Yes, it was. So she's this rich girl, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
majorly
entitled,
privileged.
Very privileged. Very privileged.
Yes.
And there's this man who was a widower, right? It's widower for a boy. Widow or widower. It's widower.
Widower.
Anyway, so he's a widower and he has this adorable child and he has this like resort cabin thing and it's struggling, you know, but he
went to the dad.
Yeah. And he's trying to do the best for his kid.
He went to Lindsay Lohan's dad.
Oh, right.
And the dad was a nice guy and just said, look, I've got my own stuff to worry about.
Yeah.
I can't be worrying about your failing business.
Right.
In so many words. But he wasn't like a mean person. He was actually, he was a good guy. A lot of times they make
You're talking about the dad was a good. I mean, I guess he did let him down nicely. That was true.
He let him down nicely. He liked the fact, everything works. The dad was a good guy in this.
Yeah. The dad was your favorite character? He wasn't a hero.
It was just different because normally the dad of the competing ski resort would be like some evil, like, I'm going to take you out of business.
That's true.
And I'm taking over the ski resorts, And
I'm going to buy from you for 5 pennies.
Right.
And there's nothing you can do
about it. And the
it.
mayor's in my back pocket and everything works out for me. Yeah, it wasn't like that at all.
Must be a big back pocket.
But this was borderline Hallmark movie because of every cheesy thing about it. But it wasn't 100% Hallmark movie. It was just borderline Hallmark movie. Okay.
So did you like it more than a Hallmark movie?
I would say it's a little better than a Hallmark movie. If I was going to give this a rating from 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst movie, I threw up in my mouth while I watched it, and 10 being so spectacular, I had to watch it 6 more times before I could go to bed.
I don't think you've ever seen it
before
no you 10. Could go to bed.
Yeah, there's no number 10.
Yeah, I don't think
so.
I've never I don't think you've ever rated anything like an 8 either.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, so what is this? If you say like 2?
3. It's a 3.
David? A 3?
Yeah. Now let me explain why.
Okay, please do.
Okay. So all this, I don't know if I need to do this. I feel like I do. All this is spoiler alerts.
Okay.
All right.
Oh yeah, because we didn't even say what the movie's about. She's rich. She's privileged. Are you going to go into detail, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to do the whole backstory.
Oh, okay.
So Lindsay Lohan's character is the daughter of this guy who owns an extremely expensive, like high-level ski resort.
Yeah.
Like they've got like hot tubs out in the middle of winter kind of ski resort. They did. There was like, they always showed that scene for some reason.
I know, and it was the same scene.
And if you notice, the people never got out. Like they're just, I guess they just went there to stay in the hot tub the entire 6 days.
They're like, no one's going to notice that we're inserting the exact
shot.
same.
Yeah, I know. They just, I guess that's where
Nothing
the budget
gets past
cut was.
you, Dave.
I guess that's where the budget cut was. But anyway, so he owns this super, and then she's the daughter who's just this privileged, like everything's handed to her. He just takes care of her because he's got money. And so I guess he was the guy who worked hard and maybe made it happen. You know, they never said that, but I'm assuming that's the case. Either way, so then she's got a boyfriend who is like this influencer who's all about himself for the most part.
He was a terrible actor.
We'll get to that.
Oh. You're like, hold your horses.
All right. And then there was this little teeny ski resort, like more of like a mom and pop shop kind of place.
Really adorable.
Yeah. And they were kind of like old school where they make your breakfast and stuff like that.
And there's carriage rides.
Yeah. Sleigh rides. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a sleigh ride. Yeah. But same thing.
Yeah, same
Just
thing.
one's snow, one's not. But either way, so like, and he's failing. He's a guy failing business. So he goes to the dad and he says, I need some money. would you be willing to invest in my business? And it will help yours because the people will come to mine and then they'll get really good at skiing and then they'll go to yours because they'd want to upgrade. So I'm like your starter level and you're the ending level. So, would you help me out? And the dad was like, look, I got my own investors. I can't do this.
And this was after that really epic race down the hill on skis too.
Oh, right. Yeah. There was that scene where the guy said, I'll talk to you if you can beat me down the hill. If you can beat me down the hill. Yeah. And the guy lets him win. And the dad noticed that he let him win. And he later says, good job on that or whatever.
If you were trying to get money from somebody, would you let them win? Or would you still be like, nah, I'm going to crush you?
Well, I would just beat him. And then I would say, you know what? I don't need your money because you're not any good at skiing.
That would be the
It's a little reverse psychology.
Ah, sure, because then they'd want to give you money
then
to
the guy's
prove
gonna grab,
to them.
He's going to say, whoa, wait. And I'm like, no, sir, I don't need your money. Clearly, you don't know how to ski. And then he'll say, please take my money. And then I'll say, I guess this time.
You have a foolproof plan.
That's how it works.
Yeah, in the real world.
I've never I've never been denied money. I always do that.
Okay.
I walk up to random people on the streets.
Money. Ask me for money.
Well, you know my trick now. It's not going to work on you. If I would have done it before, you would have gave me money.
Monopoly money, maybe.
Well, anyway. So they're in the hotel, or they're in the hotel, and the guy gets turned down from her dad's the Glee guy. He tries to get the money. He says no. Yeah, the Glee guy, right? So he's in the hotel and he bumps into her.
Right.
Okay.
And it was a classic comedy thing of, the hot chocolate gets all over her nice outfit. Right.
And then the boyfriend, who's like the influencer, he's so upset because her dress is ruined, sort of.
Yeah.
And they bump into each other and they see each other.
Yeah, they do.
And yet somehow, for the rest of the movie, he doesn't remember seeing her.
Don't you remember, though? She had those really large glasses on.
Who cares?
She has huge glasses on.
You can't make out she's the only redhead in the entire area?
No, haven't you ever seen Hannah Montana? When she puts a blonde wig on, you don't know that that's Miley Cyrus.
She's not wearing a blonde wig, though.
No, but she had a huge hat on and big sunglasses.
Oh, God. They bumped into each other. He should have known. Okay, so what happens is Lindsay Lohan eventually gets into an accident.
Yeah.
Loses her she gets amnesia, okay, forgets who she is.
Yeah.
And the whole movie, for the most part, is based around her trying to get back to figure out who she is while she's staying at his resort because he found her in the middle of nowhere and brings her in and he's trying to help her.
He rescued her.
He was trying to help her get back to herself, right? Yeah. And they kind of like...
they named her. They gave her a name.
What do they name her?
Sarah.
Oh, right. Yeah, they named her Sarah. Okay, whatever that... I don't know what. I'm not sure what that meant.
It was just nice.
Like a pet. Like, and it was up to his daughter. What are we gonna name her, sweetie? Oh, I like Rocky. Let's name her Rocky. That's not a good name.
If we name her, we can keep her.
Can we name her Fluffy? No, that's not a good name. Let's call her Sarah. Oh, okay, Dad.
It was like close to her real name because I think her real name was like Sierra or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so it was like kind of like, oh,
wow,
nice.
What a guess. Okay. So anyway, and that's kind of the idea, right? So and they kind of like fall in love, I guess. And
you do not tell that well.
Well, hold on. So there's some other scenes like she doesn't know how to like take care of herself, and he kind of teaches her how to like do laundry, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, so eventually they and before she had her accident, her fiance
the influencer guy.
Yeah, the influencer guy became her fiance. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, proposed to her.
And then because they were on a big mountaintop, and there was a large gust of wind.
Right, because Santa is in this. Yes. I think because he touched his nose. This old man touches his nose because this girl's wishing, I guess, for their ski resort to be saved. I think.
Yes, I forgot about that.
And so this old man overhears that, touches his nose, and all of a sudden this large wind gust knocks Lindsay Lohan off a hill.
You know what you should do? Off topic for a second. Get a Santa suit, big beard. Start going around stores. When you hear someone say what they want, like look
just
at
touch my nose.
Yeah.
Oh my
Tap
God.
your nose, wink, and then walk away.
That's a great idea. That is a great idea.
Yeah. Or maybe do it in bars too, like when people have been drinking, because they're going to be like, oh my God, I saw Santa tonight, and I really do believe I'm going to fall in love.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Okay, so back to the story. So anyway, so she falls because of Santa. So Santa's a murderer. Okay, but either way, so she gets hurt, and that's when and then she doesn't she never took care of herself because everyone took care of everything for her. So she doesn't know how to do laundry or flip a pancake, even though that's not really a show of anything.
The only really part that I was like, oh, good grief, was her trying to crack the egg.
Oh yeah, she couldn't crack an egg.
Yeah. And that I was just like,
she couldn't clean a toilet. She couldn't. There was a lot of. She just.
Oh yeah, she didn't know how to make the bed.
She didn't know how to make the bed. Sheet. Right, the fitted sheet gave her trouble. Yeah, I mean, the influencer guy was actually the most comedy because he got hurt. He also fell, and he ends up meeting this.
Oh, that fisherman guy.
Fisherman out in the middle of nowhere who's doing ice fishing. He's actually breaking the law because he's poaching, I guess, on federal lands or whatever. But either way, because later he gets arrested, but they let him off. But and then he's he's not really a mean guy.
No, he's just clueless.
He's just a clueless kind of almost narcissistic kind of guy, you know. But he's not like an evil guy. There is no truly evil person in this film.
Yeah,
which is probably why it's like a Hallmark movie because Hallmark really doesn't have any bad guys.
No, they normally do. It's like the ex-boyfriend is the terrible one, or the one that was her boyfriend in the city, but then she left, and he just doesn't see her or understand her passions in life. You know, that guy.
Okay, so there was no bad guy in this one.
No.
But it was just really Lindsay Lohan losing her memory, the good guy helping her get it back, sort of, and then trying to find out who she is, and then whatever. Right. But just a couple of things I wanted to mention about this movie.
I like that you have a list now.
I've got a list. Okay.
Can't wait to hear this.
So she had amnesia, right? She couldn't remember who she was.
Right.
But she remembered. But one thing she definitely remembered was how privileged she was because through the beginning, she was even talking in the very beginning when she first got her amnesia and she woke up, she was talking about where's the person to clean my room and stuff like that. So her privileged thoughts still existed. She still was like, people are supposed to take care of me.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, that's odd. Like I said before, they bumped into each other.
So you think amnesia is like a full reset? You wouldn't have any
not
of
a
those
full reset, but maybe not that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like a straight up characteristic of that one seems like you know who you are. You just forgot your name.
Right.
You know?
I mean, that's true.
But either way, and then when, like I said, they bumped into each other, looked at each other. Neither one, obviously, I give her a pass because she has amnesia, but he does not remember who she is.
David, she was basically in a disguise.
At one point, I thought maybe he was just tricking her because he was trying to get on her good graces, hoping that somehow this would work out for him. But then I realized, no, he really has no clue who she is.
You're like, no, he's actually just an idiot.
And he never.
Are you telling me that anyone you bump into, you, David, remember them?
Hold on. And he never. I would remember their face, and he never. He never remembered. He never said, "Hey, let's go to the big resort where everyone's staying." Okay. He never said, let's go to the big resort. Instead, we're going to find out who you are. But we're not going to go to the one place where everyone is staying. We're going to go to the tiny town. We're
going to ask the one sheriff in town.
He goes to the tiny town where that's where the people that live there. So he knows it's a tiny town. He knows everyone that lives there. He would recognize her if that was the case. But I'm going to bring you everywhere where I don't think they're going to recognize you. So that's why I was thinking maybe he was he literally didn't, he remembered me.
I didn't even think about that when I was watching.
Yeah, he's like, oh, that big resort where there's 3,000 people staying? No point in bringing me there.
Can't be it.
That's and I mean, her dad owns the building. They're going to know who she is. But no, let's not bring her there.
That is a solid point.
Okay, there was a scene when the young couple walks up to her. There's a young couple who went on a sleigh ride when they found her.
Oh, right.
And they were the only people staying at his resort.
Yeah.
I think. I don't think there's anyone else. I think they were the only people. Okay, so that was their only customer.
Yeah.
And there was a moment when she's waking up or whatever. I can't remember when this happened, but she comes downstairs and the young couple walks up to her and they say, "Oh, how are you doing?" And she just makes a noise and then they just walk off. There was never
did she just grunt?
She goes, "Oh," or something like that,
Yeah.
and then they just continue walking. They don't wait for her to say how she's doing.
You should have liked that. That seems like you.
But that's so bizarre. Like, you walk up to someone after they get their head hit by a tree.
Yeah, like a really traumatic thing.
Yeah, and you say, how are you doing? And then the person goes, and then you're just like, then you start walking. Like, they literally look like they cared, but then they just decided, you know what, let's not wait for this. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. It was like a strange scene where, like, they wanted the young couple to acknowledge her, but they didn't want to wait around for her response.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. But stuff like this doesn't happen. Okay. Then there was the scene where... Hold on. There's a lot of problems with this movie. Then there was the scene where they're having bacon, and she goes, I don't do bacon. Because earlier she said she doesn't do bacon.
Right.
And they give her bacon anyway, and she eats it, and she goes, I do bacon. Like, she was suddenly like, I like bacon. And I thought about you, Becca, because you don't do bacon.
When we were watching that, I was like, when David sees this, he's going to say something to me about it.
Yeah, I thought about you. I was like, you know, you don't do bacon, but I bet you if you ate some bacon, you do bacon. No. How do you not do bacon?
I've never liked bacon.
Bacon.
Well, I liked turkey bacon. So
Anyway.
if I have amnesia and you find out and you want to prank me before saying, by the way, your name is Becca, you're going to be like, here's some bacon.
All right. Then there's a scene when everything's going wrong for her, right? She can't do the laundry. She can't do the toilet. She can't do her bed. She can't crack an egg. Like, they're trying to show her like she's just incompetent.
She has no life skills.
She's totally incompetent. Yeah. And after she messes up the laundry, there's like soap suds, and that wasn't like her messing up. Like, she poured the right amount in the laundry, but then like the thing got knocked into the washer. So it's not, she doesn't notice that she knocked the thing into the washer.
Yeah.
So I can't really blame her on that one. But either way, the guy got mad at her, the hero, so to speak.
I know. And I was like, chill out, dude.
I can't remember what he said, but it wasn't mean. It was just like, I don't have time for this right now. Like, I've already got one kid. I don't need to take care of two. Kind of thing, right? So she gets upset and she storms off, and she goes up to a horse. And it's a brief scene with the horse. And she goes to the horse and she's talking to the horse. And after she
This
says,
is her Dear Diary moment.
yes, and after she says a few things, the horse, she thanks him for his support. She says, thanks for your support. And I just think that's the most bizarre thing, because one, the horse didn't respond. Okay.
Wait, you earlier today told me to communicate to the birds, but now you have a problem talking to animals?
I'm just trying to say, the horse didn't say anything to you, lady. Why are you thanking him? If anything, he's probably thinking you're a crackhead. Like, there's something wrong with you. Okay?
Probably like,
but
where is you
on top of that, the guy was right around the corner, and she didn't notice that the guy was around the corner doing whatever to the horse.
And she was having a vulnerable moment.
So instead of that must have been like the moment he's like, wow, I'm being too hard on her, even though he wasn't.
No, he was.
He just said one thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't very nice. She lost all of her memories, and he was just like, about the soap, and that wasn't nice.
But either way, you would think, like, if the amnesia girl's thanking horses for their support, at this moment, you cut her loose. Okay? There's no more needing to help this charity case.
You walk up and you'd be like, you know what? You need to leave.
Yeah, send her to the other resort. They'll know who she is. Okay, and then there's the scene when she's finally learning how to do everything. Okay, so she's been practicing, I guess.
Yeah.
So she makes her bed. she cracks an egg. She's doing the laundry. She's doing everything, and then they're reading like a story or something, and she's smiling and clapping through the story.
I forgot about that.
They're like, oh look, it's she's getting her memory back, and because she's starting to remember some things, right? And
she was getting memories of her mom,
and they show her doing simple tasks, and they're treating it like it's like an incredible moment for her, like she was learning. You have to see this, but it's unbelievable. I wasn't sure if this was a comedy. Because this was pretty funny. This was funnier than Do Revenge.
Were you rooting for them to fall in love?
What?
Were you rooting for them to fall in love with this movie?
No, I didn't. You knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, but you still want to root for it.
So then there's this other scene when at the end they're trying to figure out how to save his resort because he's failing still. He has no money, and Lindsay's got this great idea. Hey, we're going to go ahead and invite all the people who were here before, and we're going to invite them back, and they're gonna and then we're going to ask for money. And he's like, I'm not doing a handout. I don't want a handout. I'm not doing a fundraiser. Yeah. I want this business basically to survive because it can bring people in, right? And so they do it though. And they like, we're not going to ask for a handout. We're just going to invite people back just to get the mojo
Get
back.
the word out. Yeah. A nice
And-
party, a Christmas party.
Right. So they do this invitation, and everyone shows up, and it's the town. Okay. So I guess nobody stays at this resort except people who live in the town. And there's only like 30 people who live in this town. So this resort is doomed for failure. Okay. They need to get some outside people.
Yeah.
But either way, the people from the town come in, and one person starts off and says like, "Oh, when I was here, this is where you taught my kid how to ski."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You know what? I owe you for those ski lessons." So he wrote him a check, or had a check already written,
Yeah.
and gave him a check, and said, "This is for the ski lessons for my son." So everyone was doing stuff like that. Like
Right.
when we were here for a wedding or whatever, you helped us do this. To all the things he gave them for free, they were
Right.
paying for that now.
Yeah.
As like,
Because
you know,
he was just such a nice guy.
right. Yeah. And that was sweet. And
It was
there's nothing
beautiful.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
The only thing wrong with that scene was, if you look, everyone had the same color check. Everyone had
You would notice
the
that.
same off-color check. And the only thing you can wonder is one of two things. One, like, is this some sort of weird like pod town where like there are a bunch of aliens and they all get the same checks? Because last time I checked, everyone likes to be like personalized, right? Like, you're going to get checks, you get your own checks,
Yeah.
right? Or two, does the bank only offer one color? Because they probably only have one
It's a small
bank.
town, yeah. Just one color in there.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a personalized check?
Yeah.
What was your favorite one?
What do you mean?
I had Scooby-Doo checks.
No, I never did characters.
Yeah, of course not. I don't know why. I thought you'd maybe do something fun.
But yeah, so in the end, she gets her memory back. And
Oh, you're forgetting the best part.
what?
They fall in love.
Well, there's a scene where it seems like they're falling in love. They're about to kiss. It doesn't
Yeah.
happen. Then they do kind of dance, and then the townspeople show up.
Do kind of dance. It's this beautiful moment shared between the two.
And then the father shows up. I forget how he figured out how to come to the small town to find his daughter. It's
Yeah.
funny how the father knew to go to the small resort to find his daughter, but the guy didn't think about going to the large resort to help his daughter find out who she is. Like, they gave up pretty quick.
He alerted the authorities. What
just-
more was he supposed to do?
Truth is, this is like borderline kidnapping at this point. Like,
free labor.
He could have tried a little harder. Okay.
He had a lot going on.
And the sheriff really didn't give a crap. Like, he was just like, well, no point in doing it now. Everyone's on vacation.
Your fingerprints aren't in the system. My hands are tied.
Yeah, I can't do anything. I mean, there's no pictures taken, no postings of her face throughout the town or the resorts.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. It was just like, well, giving up early.
But then the relationship with the daughter and her was so beautiful. And then Lindsay was getting memories of her own mom. So it was just all these like touching things that happened. I'd also like everyone to know that the whole time you've been talking about this, you've been smiling. So this movie brought you joy.
I'm smiling because of how there's so many things about it that just were odd. And the fiance, they break up, and he ends up being gay, I guess.
Oh, I could tell from the beginning. In
Yeah.
fact, I told my sister, I was like, he's not
Holly
in love
said the
with her
same
like
thing,
that.
and I said, "Are you sure? He just might be like metrosexual or something, just like really like
Yeah.
into." But you're right. How in the end he ended up being gay. The first sign I was like, "Okay, you're right," was when the guy was offering him his snowshoes, and he was like, "I
They
have
had
large
that
feet."
moment, yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, he ended up being gay
So
anyway.
everyone just walked away with love in the end.
In the end, nobody was upset.
Yeah.
It was a happy ending for everybody.
Everyone loves a happy
Everyone,
ending.
even the fiance didn't care he got broken up with on Christmas Day. He just wanted to help get his viewers. So he was like, "Can
Yeah.
I post this?" And she was like,
Right.
"Yeah, sure, whatever."
Yeah.
And the dad was happy because he's not ending up with the weird guy named Tad, who's the influencer. That was his name.
Right.
So the dad's happy with that. And what's funny was the last scene too, when they finally kiss each other out in the middle of like that, whatever, the dad doesn't know that they broke up yet.
Oh,
But he
right.
sees her kissing the other guy from the other resort. And the dad's first instinct isn't like, you're cheating on your fiance.
No.
It's, what happened? Oh, I'm so glad Tad's gone, basically. Like, I'm so happy you moved on that fast.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, yeah,
The movie wrapped up like a beautiful Christmas package with
it
a
was
nice
a Christmas
little
movie,
bow on top.
so that's what you expect. Oh, and then Santa, he like pops up occasionally throughout the movie.
Yeah, that
helping
cheeky
them,
little minx.
helping them move along.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you're going the wrong way.
Right.
Or she's over there. You're looking for the wrong person.
I mean, Santa provides beautiful Christmas presents and love. He's like Cupid.
Yeah. And he nearly kills people.
He knew she wouldn't die. Just beat her up a little.
I mean, she hit her head. Eddie, she fell really fast, smashed her head directly into a tree. Okay? That would normally kill a person.
And then she didn't even have like a huge scar or bandage.
Oh, yeah.
either.
No bruises?
Yeah, there was nothing.
There was no bruises. Yeah, that's
the
true.
only the part that bothered me, there was only one part that I was like unrealistic, is she took in a shower, her hair's all wet, and she said, "Do you have a hair dryer?" And it shows her blow drying her hair with this tiny, tiny hair dryer, but it's curled perfectly.
Well, her hair naturally curls.
And
that
I was
way.
like, there ain't no
when you're
freaking way.
Lindsay Lohan.
There ain't no freaking way.
So that's that's what you caught.
Yeah, I was like, absolutely not.
This movie makes no sense. It's
We'll
not
put that in there.
It's not the fact that the guy's looking directly at her throughout the whole movie and never once realizes, hey, this is the girl I bumped
It's the
into.
Hannah Montana rule.
Oh my god.
And again, she had large glasses on.
Yeah.
And a large
It's the
hat.
Clark Kent Superman moment. It's like,
Exactly.
oh my god, it was you this whole time.
This whole time.
And he didn't even realize that either. Like, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you watched it and got to experience that movie. I thought it was beautiful.
That's one of us.
You didn't even ask me my rating.
What is your
about
rating? Yeah, I did take up a lot of time talking about it, didn't I?
You're like, hold my beer.
What did you think?
Well, we ran out of time. I think on a scale for Christmas movies, my 1 to 10 scale, I would say that one was a 7.5.
A 7.5.
Yeah.
Makes sense. You don't rate anything under a 7.
That's not true. I've seen a couple Christmas movies that I was like, that's a 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What,
few and far between.
What?
I mean, some of them are like really bad Hallmark ones. Like really, really bad. And then I do have one Christmas movie that is an ultimate 10, and I watch it every single year.
And what's that?
The Family Stone.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, it's beautiful. Well, I hope you enjoyed David's review of that movie.
I know I did. I liked it more than the movie.
Yeah. Please remember to follow us on all social medias. If you tweet David, he will not tweet you back.
Isn't that the way it works?
He's like, how does Twitter work?
Wait, I thought like you're not supposed to. It's not like we're like
Pen pals?
carrying on a conversation. I'm just thinking thoughts. Isn't that what Twitter is? It's like thoughts.
But you kind of want to engage with your fans a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
So if you tweet David something, you may or may not get a response back. But still, follow us on there. And I hope you watch this movie and then let us know your thoughts. If you rate this higher than what David did. Are you Team Beck or are you Team Dave for this movie? That's what I really want to know. Anyway, you've been listening to You're Making This Difficult. I'm Beck.
I'm Dave.
Tune in next week.